What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 theory video. I wanted to do something a little different for today's video, but I have to say a few things first before I get started. The theory I'm about to present to you is not one that I created, and I'm not exactly sure who originally made this theory, but after I read it I thought it was pretty damn interesting, and I haven't actually heard this one before, which doesn't happen often because I am aware of damn near every theory out there. But someone sent me an email and I had an article attached to it with this theory, and I read most of it and I don't recall anyone ever talking about this before, so I figured I would present this to you because I'm curious to see what you think about it. The chances of this coming true are probably pretty slim, but the idea was so interesting I didn't want to completely disregard it. If you would like to read this full article, I will put the link down in the description of the video, but if this theory comes true, it could mean for one hell of an ending. A very sad ending, I must say. The two showrunners, Dan and Dave, have went on record saying there is one major shocking moment or twist remaining in this series, and they said it would happen at the end of Season 8. No one really knows what this final shocking moment will be, but many people believe it's going to have something to do with the Night King. What this theory suggests is this could mean there is going to be some deadly consequences for the Starks, when and if they kill the Night King. Now let me tell you why. During Season 7, Episode 6, we learned something pretty interesting about the Night King. We learned that when you kill their leader, the rest of them will fall too. When Jon Snow cut through the White Walker with his Valyrian steel sword, it simultaneously killed all of the Whites who were following him, except for the one they captured, of course. But nonetheless, when you kill the leader, the others will fall. Then Beric Dondarrion points out that if you kill the Night King, his entire army should die too. But doesn't that sound almost a little too simple? Could it really be that easy, or is there some kind of a twist to this? What if the Night King has a deeper connection to the Starks than any of us have ever thought, and if he dies, they all die too? I know it sounds crazy, but let's have some fun. According to Old Nan, the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch was a legendary figure known as the Night's King, and she believes he was a Stark. And it kind of makes sense when you think about how the Starks have this connection to the Old North and the cold. We know the Starks can withstand the cold temperatures more than most of any of the other characters we have met, and we also know the Starks had an ancestral Valyrian steel sword called Ice, which does sound eerily similar to the weapons the White Walkers and the Night King uses. The Starks are also direct descendants of the First Men who did coexist with the Children of the Forest, and in the show we learned that the Children of the Forest were the ones who created this Night King that we know today. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that the Children of the Forest could have used a Stark to create the Night King. I know some people always want to get hung up on the man's hair color, but I wouldn't let that change your mind. Not all of the Starks have the same hair color. The Night's King from the books was also known to have had a Night's Queen living with him at the Wall, and together they started making babies. They started to give these babies to the others as sacrifices, but what if some of their babies weren't given as sacrifices? Could the Starks we know today be descendants of the Night's King, who was a Stark, and this Night's Queen? That would mean they would have blood of the First Men and the others, and that could be a way to explain why the Starks have this connection with the others. It would also explain why they have some resistance to the cold, and why they would name their sword Ice. Catelyn Stark once said that the name Ice has been passed down from sword to sword. The Starks' Valyrian steel sword is not their first one called Ice. They have reused that name for hundreds or even thousands of years. I think it is pretty clear that the Night King they created has a very strange connection with Bran Stark. Plus you can't ignore the looks Jon and the Night King have exchanged. Sometimes the Night King looks at Jon almost like he knows him. The Night King has also had multiple opportunities to kill Jon Snow, but for some reason he hasn't. There is also something else that happened in Season 7, Episode 6 that could be foreshadowing this tragic end, but it could also be reaching too. When Beric Dondarrion suggests that killing the Night King will kill them all, he then tells Jon that the Lord of Light must have brought both of them back for a reason. And that's when the Hound says every lord he has ever known was a cunt, and he says the Lord of Light probably isn't any different. Right after the Hound makes that comment, the scene then cuts to a scene with Sansa Stark. So think about what happened right there. This theory suggests that that could have been a hidden message. Jon was brought back by the Lord of Light to kill the Night King, but the Hound suggests that the Lord of Light is a cunt, just like every other Lord. That could mean, yeah, the Lord of Light did bring Jon back to kill the Night King, but there is going to be a catch. Could that be the reason why the scene immediately switched to Jon's family right after they had this conversation? Maybe, or maybe not. How tragic would it be if Jon unknowingly killed his entire family when he kills the Night King? And to top it all off, what if Bran Stark ends up finding out this information, but he keeps it a secret because he knows the Night King needs to be defeated regardless of the consequences? I know it may sound crazy to some of you, but I thought it was an interesting idea, and it's nice to see some fresh theories out there, even if they are covered in tinfoil. I'm not so sure if they would ever do something like this in a television show, but I could definitely see George R.R. Martin adding some kind of devastating twist at the end of his story. And if Dan and Dave are going to stick to George R.R. Martin's ending, we could see something similar in the show. I have no idea what their final shocking moment will be, but I think we can expect just about anything. The Starks definitely have some kind of strange connection to the others, and I think it would be pretty damn tragic if Jon killed the Night King and all of the remaining Starks did die. But like I said at the beginning of this video, I did not create this theory, I just thought it was pretty cool and worth mentioning. Check out the link in the description if you want to read the full thing. The person who wrote it connected some other dots that I left out of this video. Anyways, thanks for stopping by to check this out. Let me know what you think about it. What do you think the final big shocking twist will be? They said there would be 3 moments that would shock fans, and they already did 2 of them according to the showrunners. I know I'm very anxious to find out what this last one could be. Before I go, I have to thank everyone on Patreon who continues to support the channel. I really appreciate all the help you have given me. Have a great day, everyone. I will see you in the next one. Bye.